Welcome to this explainer. You know, it's pretty wild, but a single tree root can literally travel hundreds of feet just to find a single drop of water. Today, we're diving deep underground to investigate a seriously costly mystery that hits homeowners and property managers everywhere. We walk over our lawns and our driveways every single day, completely oblivious to the silent, invisible battle going on just beneath the soil. So we're cracking the case on how tree roots actually invade and damage sewer lines, and honestly, the facts are going to completely change how you look at your plumbing.
Okay, so let's tackle this right away. Do tree roots really break pipes? I think we all have this classic Hollywood image in our heads of a mighty, aggressive tree root violently smashing its way through a solid metal or clay pipe, right? Like some underground monster just crushing a soda can. But as we pull back the curtain on this subterranean world, we gotta ask, is that actually how it goes down? Does a root just wake up one day and decide to bust open a pipe?
Well, no. In reality, roots are way more like stealthy opportunists. They wait for a pathway to open up rather than using brute force attacks. The big myth tells us that roots break in from the outside, but the reality? It's far more subtle than that. Most damage only happens when roots find a pre-existing opening. They aren't typically creating that initial breach. They're really just taking advantage of a structural weakness that was already sitting there, waiting for them.
Section 1. The Root Damage Myth. Rethinking the Underground Battle.
The absolute crucial point here is that healthy, well-maintained pipes are actually incredibly resilient. It's really only when they develop defects that the roots get an invitation. Let's look at the definition of root intrusion. This happens when tree roots locate pre-existing pathways in your underground infrastructure. Think a tiny crack or a loose joint. And they grow into that space specifically to get at the wastewater. Your sewer pipes are designed to keep water locked in, but the very second that containment fails, the invasion begins.
Section 2. How roots find a way. Tracing the vulnerabilities.
So how do these openings form in the first place? Well, everyday things like soil movement, settling, and even vibrations from traffic can cause underground infrastructure to shift. This creates common entry points for roots to exploit. We're talking about fractures in older clay or aging plastic pipes, gaps or misaligned segments right at the joints, corroded areas where the material has simply weakened, or separated connections near manholes. These shifts happen super slowly, over years or even decades, and they create the perfect little doorways for roots to slip through.
Think of it like a biological chain of events. Step 1. The pipe leaks even a microscopic amount of moisture. Step 2. The tree roots, which are naturally desperate for water, sense this signal coming from that nutrient-rich environment. It's literally like a homing beacon. And finally, Step 3. The roots don't just magically teleport inside, they actually grow along the damp soil surrounding the pipe until they hit that defect, and then they penetrate the crack.
Now, while the roots didn't cause that initial tiny fracture, their proliferation inside the pipe definitely makes things a whole lot worse. Once they're inside that wet, cozy environment, they thrive, they grow, they expand, and as they do, they physically displace the pipe material. They force that tiny microscopic crack to widen, which obviously worsens the original alignment problem that let them in to begin with. The root didn't start the fire, but man, it absolutely poured gasoline on it.
Section 3. Anatomy of a blockage. The invisible progression. So what happens next? Even a partial root obstruction acts exactly like a net, slowing down wastewater movement and drastically increasing the chance of a major clog. The roots naturally tangle up inside the pipe and accumulate aggressively around the joints. This reduces the pipe's effective diameter, basically choking off the flow. But here's where it gets super messy. That tangled web of roots starts trapping all the everyday debris we wash down the drain. Grease, hair, sediment, it all gets caught in the root system, building up into a massive, stubborn blockage.
And here is the true danger. This damage is quietly compounding completely out of sight until the system reaches a breaking point. Because this entire chaotic mess is happening buried deep in your yard, you get absolutely zero visual warning. The pipe is cracking, the roots are expanding, the debris is building into a massive clog, and on the surface, everything looks like a perfectly normal Tuesday. That is, until a messy, wildly inconvenient, and usually very expensive plumbing failure hits your home. If you're a property manager or a homeowner, you need to be hyper-vigilant for these warning symptoms. These are the critical red flags telling you an underground invasion is already well underway. Are you dealing with slow drains that just refuse to clear? What about recurring clogs that keep coming back no matter what you try? Listen for gurgling sounds in your plumbing. And of course, watch out for the ultimate nightmare, sewage backups. Also, trust your nose. Foul odors near your cleanouts and outdoor areas are a massive giveaway that something is blocking the line below.
It is so easy to point the finger at those fast-growing or moisture-seeking trees in the yard. And yes, root behavior definitely varies by species, soil type, and groundwater levels. But the reality? The true enabler of the disaster is almost always the compromised pipe itself. Remember, healthy, well-maintained sewer lines are far less vulnerable to these usual suspects. If the pipe doesn't leak the signal, the roots don't attack. Simple as that.
Section 4. Prevention and proactive care. Taking back control. I absolutely love this perspective because it shifts us away from fear and panic and puts us firmly in the driver's seat. Read that quote again. The safest approach is to treat sewer protection as part of property management, not as a reaction to an emergency. We shouldn't be waiting around for a sewage backup to ruin our day. Understanding the how behind root intrusion gives us the power to act early and manage our infrastructure proactively. Check out these proactive steps. Step 1, map out exactly where your existing sewer lines are located. Once you have that map, step 2 is making sure you keep any new landscaping or tree plantings far enough away so their natural root radius won't intersect with your plumbing. A little strategic planning here can completely eliminate the chance of future intrusion. And step 3, always monitor for those early warning signs we just talked about. Now, for existing trees, a professional sewer camera inspection is your absolute best detective tool. It totally removes the guesswork from your underground infrastructure. If you suspect a leak or if you already have large trees established near your lines, do not wait for a backup. A pro sends a camera right into the heart of the system to reveal hidden cracks, identify misaligned joints, and show you exactly where root growth is starting, long before it traps enough grease and hair to cause a catastrophe.
By catching and addressing these minor vulnerabilities early on, you prevent those tiny weak spots from becoming major, expensive infrastructure failures. These timely maintenance steps are for sure your best defense. Address small leaks early so you cut off the moisture signal attracting the roots. Repair damaged sections of the pipe promptly, and use appropriate line rehabilitation methods to restore the structural integrity of your system. Take away the pathway, and you keep the roots out.
Take a quick moment to consider your own property's vulnerabilities. We've seen today that the story isn't just about roots being incredibly strong. It's really about our own underground lines developing weak points and moisture providing the pathway. Your underground lines are out of sight, but are they truly out of reach? As you walk across your lawn tomorrow, you've got to ask yourself, what silent battles are happening right now, just inches beneath your feet? Thanks for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking questions and keep looking beneath the surface.